I travelled home to Britain for Christmas entirely by train, which I've now done several times and people are always asking me about it, so here is how I do it. After going down to Stockholm, I hopped on the 1728 SCA night train to Hamburg. Despite having already learnt this the hard way, I went for the cheap option of a seat, which meant that I barely slept, but I did have some lovely conversations with my cabin mates. The train arrived bang on time at 5:49, so after freshening up at the station, I took the 6:45 direct train to Köln. It was a bit delayed, but that was okay because I had a long change time, and the train to Brussels was also delayed. The train to Brussels left at 12:07 and it did arrive quite delayed, which meant that when I got to Eurostar I did have to hotfoot it a bit and I made it through the barriers with 3 minutes to spare. But pro tip, the Eurostar is actually way more chill than people expect. They are so used to delays coming from Germany that they'll sometimes hold the train, and I've never had any trouble getting onto the next train when I've missed the one I actually booked. I arrived at London St Pancras a little after 4 p.m, and from there it was just the final train down to Kent. So going right from door to door, the entire journey took me 28 hours. I then had 3 lovely weeks at home doing all sorts of strange Kentish traditions, and then it was back to Sweden. So up to London, over to Brussels, on to Köln, where I got this worrying message from Interrail. So rather than waiting around, I decided to get to Hamburg ASAP, which meant going via Hanover. In the end, it turned out the train wasn't cancelled, just leaving from Hamburg Harburg instead of Hamburg Hauptbahnhof. One thing I will criticise is how SCA, the Swedish train company, and Deutsche Bahn, the German company, don't seem to actually communicate with each other, and if there's a problem in one country, everyone who booked with the company of the other country just won't be notified. So I only found out about this station change by actively checking the Deutsche Bahn website, but when there's conflicting information on different websites, it can be a bit nerve-wracking, so I really wish they'd fix that. Anyway, I had a bed on the night train back home, so I got a decent amount of sleep this time. When I woke in the morning, it was delayed by 90 minutes, but frankly, with all of the snow, it could have been much worse. So yeah, it may not be the fastest or most convenient way to travel between Sweden and Britain, but I really enjoy it. I always get loads of work done and read lots, and I like watching the world go by and actually feeling the distance I've travelled. And most importantly, I believe that the long-distance trains from SCA and Deutsche Bahn both run on renewable energy, meaning that the CO2 emissions of my journey is around 15 kilograms, as opposed to flying, which is in the region of 500 kilograms. And for me, that's what makes it all worth it.